Yeah, hello and welcome to another episode of the Spielworxx chat season 3. My name is Uli Blennemann and I'm sweating, so I hope you are all well. And it is my pleasure to welcome a wonderful guest today, Uwe Bursik, owner of Skellig Games. And look at that background, they are most excellent. Iserlohn Roosters, excellent. Uwe, to start, please tell us something about your background, your hobbies. What are you doing for a living?
Yes, I'm 51 years old. I'm Uwe from Germany, and my background is I've studied physics so many years ago, and after that I worked as a software engineer for nearly 20 years. The last years for Siemens, which is a popular company you all might know, and for 1.5 months now, I'm only working for Skellig Games, which is like a dream coming true. We will hear some more details about that later, I think. And yeah, that's how I do my living at the moment, and I'm hoping it will be enough for living for the next years.
Yeah, but knowing you a little bit, Uwe, I think it will work out perfectly. And of course, it is good to concentrate on the stuff that you would like to do and not doing this part time. So very good. But Uwe, we are here in Germany with a great gaming tradition. So when did you start gaming?
I think it's a pretty usual story here in Germany. I started gaming as a child. I played with my parents. I played with friends, and I kept gaming all my life. Sometimes I played more, sometimes I played less, but I never totally gave up gaming. So it's one of the few things I had all my life, and so it came that my dream had to do with gaming, and someday it had to come true because I think gaming is my soul.
But this is a great answer. That gaming is in your heart, in your soul. This is fantastic. Yeah, and of course, you are having your day job at that time, but then you made the decision to form a game company, which is a huge step. Why did you do so?
It's a long story, I think, because at first I started designing games, even when I was a child or a teenager. Very easy games that weren't working really. Over the years, I tried to design games and put some effort in that. But someday I realized that I really needed a job that has to do with gaming, and becoming a designer, a game designer, and make a living with it seemed very, very, very complicated and very, very, very seldom. I think there are not so many game designers in the world who can make that for a living, or even maybe a dozen or two. And so I thought about what can I do, and the next idea that came up was to become a publisher, to open up a publishing house. And it took some years, but at some day now, 5 years ago, I just started. That was the beginning.
So as a part-time company at that time, of course, 5 years ago, and this is really interesting too, because, and we will get to this a little bit later, Skellig Game grew a lot over just 5 years. If we take a look at the catalog a little bit later, this is amazing, really. And did you have goals initially? So when you started Skellig Games, what were your goals?
I think the first goal was to learn, as I didn't have to do anything with that industry and with that scene. Besides gaming, of course, I've been to Essen some years ago, but that's it. And so the main goal was to learn, and the second main goal was to somehow grow, because I didn't have any money, or just a bit money. So I started by designing a game on myself as a starting game for the publishing house, which was Concerto. It's not a really great game, but it's a game And that game was the starting point, and I started to learn with that game everything from the design, from the product to the production, and to marketing, to the sales, and so on and so on. And that helped a lot. It helped a lot. This first game, which was not very successful, but it had everything I needed to learn all those things. And there are many people who helped me on that way. For example, I came to a point where the production was very, 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 very complicated for me, as I didn't know how to produce a game and where to produce a game. And I asked some printing houses here around our hometown, and they said, "Oh, we never did a game. We can try it," and so on and so on. But that was much too expensive. And then I met Till Meyer from Spielworxx, who is now a good friend of mine, and who helped me a lot. And that is something that went on over the years, that I met so many great people. For example, you.
We were talking about great people. We were talking about great people, and then you mentioned me, Uwe. So there's something wrong here.
You like ice hockey?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so the way I'm going is a way of learning, and it's still great. So yeah.
Yeah, but to me, I think it's even great that you tried everything with your first game, because you saw that game production is different from, for example, book publishing, where you don't have that many components, you don't have to shuffle around with so many different items. It's a what some people underestimate. It's quite a complex process, and it's great to be there right from the start. So I think this was great. But did you say, or did you, when you started Skellig Games, did you say, I want to do family type games, I want to do kids games, I want to do expert games? Did you want to move to certain genres, or did you say, let's see?
I did say let's see all the time, and we still say that because I like all kind of games. So why should I focus? And we made some experiences, of course. So for example, games which are too easy, very light family games, card games. We also had them in the publishing house here, but they don't sell very well. They are not seen by a smaller publishing house as we are one, because they have to be sold on another way. I think you have to do some displays for the big games stores and so on, and that's a problem for us. So most of our games which are going good are family games plus, or gamers games, or more complex games. But that was not a decision. It was just something that happened.
Yeah.
And that's the same, for example, with licensing games from English companies and so on, or for doing games on our own. It's something we both want to do. So we are not trying to focus. We're just strolling around.
But I agree, and I think you are 100% correct here. It's very difficult to compete with small games, with inexpensive games here in Germany on this competitive market, because you're competing with Amigo, with some other companies, and they have their displays, they are known, and it's difficult. But we are having here in the chat a very nice question by Matt, and he's asking, how does a German publisher release a game with an English pun like "Nice to meet you"? So, how did this happen?
How did this happen? I was sitting in an ice cream cafe and thinking about the title. We had this game by Daniel Bernsen, and we signed it, and we liked to publish it because we liked it a lot. And then we needed a title, and there has been a list. I've been eating ice cream and thinking about 20 titles. And then I asked Daniel, and I asked others from the team, and they said, okay, take this one. Just for the fun.
Yeah, but
just doing a funny title, because it's a small game. You don't have to be so serious on that game.
But I think it's a great title, and you see it's recognized in the US as well as a great English pun. And Daniel is saying, I have that one, so nice to meet you, because fellow designer Rita Model said he should buy it, and you see Daniel is listening. So Rita knows good games, and Daniel is listening. So very nice.
Always good to do the things Rita says, because if
Yeah.
you don't, you get angry.
You are in trouble. You're in trouble if you're not doing
Yes.
this. And let me post for the URL of Skellig Games here in the chat, so you can see that Skellig these days has quite a full catalog. And consider it's just 5 years. So I think, Uwe, you are having great management skills as well to grow the company into various ways here. Can you tell us, for people not checking right now, how many games you are having right now in the catalog, and how many employees, and yeah.
Yeah, the first thing is it's not the management skills, it's the team. I have such a great team, and let's start with the team maybe. We are now, besides me, four other people. It's Thomas for sales and marketing. It's Joachim for the as an editor. Beate is doing the event management, and Lisa is new in the team. She translated many of our games, and now she's an employee. And we have also two, what we call in Germany, mini jobs. One for the complaint management, and one who is doing the office things. That's Philip and Katja and Dennis. Thanks a lot. It's a wonderful team, and we wouldn't be here without that great team. Yes, it's many games right now. Altogether, maybe 40, 50, don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's a mix. It's some games are consignment games, and some games are licensed titles, and some games are own titles. So it's a mix. But altogether, maybe 50 around that without expansions.
This really is amazing. Do you consider it necessary to have licensed titles, because and we all know how difficult a localization can be, because but you don't have to do additional development, and most probably not additional graphics. Do you think this is necessary, or how do you see this?
It's not really necessary. It's an option, and we try to take every option we have, because if one thing goes a bit better, the other thing can go worse, and the company can also can even survive on more than one base. And it's a pro and con. It's as you said, the licensing titles don't need so much editing, and they only need translation most of the time, but they are more expensive. The sales revenue is not so high as for the own titles, which are of course cheaper, because you don't have to pay license, but it's more work to do. You have to do all the editing process to create a game from the author's game, and the production, but you can also earn some money by licensing it to other languages. So I think a mix of both is what we will do in the future, what we have done in the past. So that's how it happened.
Yeah, and getting one step back here, Uwe, I really like it that you put your team in the flashlight. You put it in this. This is wonderful. And then we had 2022. And Cryptid was nominated in Germany as Kennerspiel des Jahres. And in Germany, for people who do not know, Skellig is doing Cryptid. And what was your, right before the award ceremony, what was your level of anticipation? And what happened to you, Uwe?
Everybody asks, and it's always the same answer. We all have been very easy, because the nomination itself is such a big thing for us. It's it was very we didn't think about that before. It was last year we had some games like the Isle of Cats or Sagani, where we thought, maybe they could be nominated or on the long list or so, and it didn't happen. And this year we just watched the pre-nomination and were very, very relaxed because we didn't think we had any game that could be mentioned there. And then suddenly they mentioned Cryptid, and it was I wouldn't say it was a shock, but it was a shock. And so we were so glad that we even were nominated, that we didn't have to win. Of course, we would be glad if we had won. That's
of course.
High, but I think we all were very easy. It was such a great thing to be there in Berlin, to meet all those people, to be at the ceremony. There is a test before the ceremony. You just go through the whole thing, and to do all that, to watch all that, and to be part of it was so great. And what we also said, the meal, the dinner was so good. So we try to be nominated next year again, just to be there and have that great dinner. I think we'll make it.
So yeah, then you know what is really important in life. Great dinner. So what else do we want? So wonderful. Yeah, but I think going into such a ceremony pretty relaxed is a good thing, because then you can't be that disappointed. So very well. And hello, Markus. Good seeing you here. Purple Shiba is there. So now we are having in the chat here 2 people who played with me live last Saturday. So yeah, well, and who I beat? No, not really, probably. But let's go to another game that Uwe, so Skellig Games, is doing together with Spielworxx and with Capstone Games. Too, this is Matthias Kramer's huge, big, beautiful, wonderful game, Weimar Fight for Democracy. So, yeah, exactly. So, why do you love Weimar, Uwe?
I first loved it because I'm very interested in history, especially history in the 20th century. And I saw the game in Ratingen 2019, where Matthias was playing it, was playing the prototype and testing it again. And since then, I'm kept annoying the other publisher to do the game together. And someday he said, just because you shut up, we do the game together, which is great, Uli. Thanks again for that chance. And if you played it, you will like it even more, because it's very immersive, is the right word. You just dive into that world, which is a very, 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 very good experience to see that the world in the Weimar Republic, the political world, wasn't so clear, and it was very complicated, and it wasn't easy, or it wouldn't have been easy to prevent all the things that happened after the Weimar Republic. And you can live through that when you play the game, and see, for example, if you play the SPD, to try to prevent the NSDAP coming to the power is harder than you think. And I think that's what really happens there. And this is such a great experience.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And hello, Blue Dane 7. Good seeing you. We are getting one step back here, Uwe, because there's another question from designer Matt, and then we get back to Weimar. And Matt is asking, Uwe, do you look for anything specific when scouting games? If there's something that makes a game a Skellig game?
I always say a Skellig game is a very good game. That's what we should do. No, it's not too specific. As I told before, we are not searching for easy card games or for easy family games. Not because we don't like them, but we made the experience that it's hard for us to sell those games. So what we are scouting for is family games plus and more complex. And on the other side of the complexity scale, there's no border, because we also do the Lazada games in Germany, and we do coffee traders in Weimar and things like that. They are even complex games, so it can't be too complex, but it doesn't have to be too easy.
Yeah, a good answer. And talking about Weimar again, I agree again 100% with you over that. Matthias did a great game, and he formed an immersive small Weimar world on the gaming table. So that I think is the beauty of the game, and it's asymmetric, and for people who would learn a lot more about the game, there's an old issue, but you find it on YouTube with me and Matthias talking about the game in more detail. So if you want to learn more about Weimar, you can also check out that Spielworxx chat episode. But yeah, and I agree. Another point, and you touched on this already, Uwe, is that Matthias' Weimar version is not deterministic. So it's not 100% sure that when the game is ending, that the Weimar Republic, the first German democracy, is toppled. Well, maybe it will happen that democracy prevails, and this is a very nice feature in the game, and in my opinion, in Matthias' opinion, in Uwe's opinion, also true to history. Yeah, so very good. And Uwe, how many scenarios will the game have? So how do you?
I'm not sure. I think Matthias is working on 3 scenarios. Uli, you not? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's right. Uli said it. Yes, we're working on it, and I think we're going to Kickstarter in 3 weeks. Is it correct? If everything goes well, which we hope. Mm-hmm. We saw a prototype. We made a pre-production copy, and we had it. You saw it too, and you touched it, and it looked so great because we tried to make nearly anything out of wood. Wooden meeples in all kinds of colors and shapes, and a double layer board, and all the things big games have to have nowadays. So I'm really looking forward to it, and it's a little dream coming true to have this game.
Yeah, it's definitely a special production with this double layer board where you can put in the wooden components in their special places. And yes, I saw the game at Berlin, at the Berlin Convention R2, and we will have the games for people attending Essen. Matthias will be there, and he will do at certain points. Yes. Uwe and I will mention this. Matthias will demo the game so you can learn more about it. So it's a beautiful, special item in my opinion.
Agreed.
And Jonas is asking, hello Jonas, by the way, greetings, my regards to Switzerland. So will these scenarios differ in game length? So is there maybe a shorter one? Yes and no. So we are having the huge full game, that is the campaign game, let's put it that way, which is 6 game rounds. So, and you are thinking, well, 6 game rounds can't be that long. Yes, it can be, because I think 1 game round is about an hour. So, 6 hours, first game maybe even longer. The 3 scenarios, which are in addition to the campaign game, cover always 2 game rounds. So first scenario, the first 2, so the start of the Weimar Republic. Second scenario, third and fourth game round, which is the so-called golden years of the Weimar Republic, and then the decline of the Weimar Republic, the last 2 game rounds, 5th and 6th. So, and the scenarios will take between 90 minutes to 2 hours for sure. Yeah. Uwe, anything? What do you think about game lengths here?
I think it's exactly what you said. It's because of this immersive nature. 6 hours aren't really 6 hours, and if you played it once or twice, you can even do that in 4 hours or something like that. But it's good to have those scenarios because. There may be people who are interested in that theme, but who are a bit shy because of the six hours. So you can get them with those scenarios, and I think it's a very good way to bring people to the game.
Yeah. Absolutely agreed. And Uwe mentioned something that is very true. There are 6-hour games and 6-hour games. So in a game like Weimar or Here I Stand, Time Flows, So flows also, but if time flies and you are not thinking you are playing for such a long game because you are deeply in it. And there's also Stefan Risthaus, great seeing you. And he's asking, what will Weimar cost? Do we have a price for Weimar?
I think we agreed on 109 euros for the Kickstarter campaign and 129 for the version sold after the Kickstarter, which is the same version. And we're not planning to do retail. At the moment, we're planning to sell it through our shops and through conventions.
Yeah.
That's and of course Kickstarter at first.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah, and I think this makes sense. Yes, it is a costly game, but there is so much in it. Each player has their own deck of cards, party cards. There are agenda cards. There are timeline cards. There are foreign affair cards. So there is a lot in it, and this is really a special item. But it's not a game for everyone. So just consider what you are doing here. Jonas is thanking you for your great answer before, Uwe. And again, if you want to learn more about Weimar, check out the earlier Spielworxx chat episode with Matthias, and also take a look for the Skellig booth at Essen and for the Spielworxx booth. We will have Matthias Kramer, the designer, over there at certain times. So he can explain the game, and we are using the pre-production copy so that you can feel the quality of the game. Uwe, is there anything you are planning besides Weimar for Essen? Are there any new games that you are releasing?
We were planning so many games, but planning at the moment isn't too easy, as you of course know as well. If anything had gone perfect, there would be 6 or 7 more games in Essen for us. So some of the games are late. For example, Coffee Traders, a great complex game from Capstone Games originally, which will be late. Maybe we have a copy to play it, but not to sell. What will be there, hopefully, if the ship isn't going through the Suez and doing some strange things, is Chocolate Factory. Original from Skellig Games, which is it's a gamer's game. It's not too complex. It's not too easy. About, of course, a chocolate factory. You're producing chocolate, which is a great thing. And some hint I just heard today: we will have some chocolate at the booth. Fully, you're welcome. We will have Fall of the Mountain King, Der Fall des Bergkönigs, which is the successor of Hall of the Mountain King, which we had last year, which is also back again. If you want to buy a copy, it's a totally different game. It's just the story, which is the successor, the thing before the other game. That should be there. Maybe there is also power plants available, which is not sure yet, but we hope for. And of course, we are having Rita Model's new game called Zwergendorf, Dwarf's Village. And we will also have Rita Model. So come for the game or come for Rita, but visit our booth. Will be a great experience, I promise.
Yeah, with Rita and all these games, it is a great experience for sure. But it sounds that you will be busy in the foreseeable future. So it sounds like that. And we have already some more interest here in Weimar, because Stefan Ristos is saying, count me in for Weimar. Looking forward to Essen. Yeah, and for people, Stefan and Ostia Spiele, so will be at the Spielworxx booth. They will have a table over there, so you can check out their games anyway. And yeah, to come to an end over here, how can people reach you, Uwe? Is there a special way? Is there a way that you'd like to be contacted if people want to get in touch?
Yeah, the best way is via email, because that's how I plan my work, my deadlines and so on. And it's just going to the homepage, and there is a contact formula. There's an email address, which is simply info@skellig-games spielworxx.de,
Mhm.
and that's the best way to contact us.
Yeah.
You will get an answer promised normally within hours or days.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. And yeah, thank you to all viewers. Thanks for the questions. And of course, thank you very much, Uwe, for your time, for your great answers, for presenting Skellig Games. I think it's a very interesting, promising company. And yeah, you see, we'll talk again in 5 years, and then you have conquered the whole German market. Let's plan for that. And yeah, the next Spielworxx chat is on August 30, so in 2 weeks. And if you would like to talk about a special topic or have a question that you'd like to ask in advance, please contact me at uli@spielworxx.de. That is uli@spielworxx.de. Again, thank you, Uwe. Thank you, everybody here. And till August 30, bleibt alle gesund, support the Ukraine, and bye-bye. Bye.